Tired of chasing strategies that really never stick? Drew says most people aren't inconsistent, they're just unclear, and clarity changes everything. Let's break it down right here on Small Business Spotlight. Drew Kairos, who are you?
I'm the founder of Alpha Dog Success, where we help entrepreneurs, business owners, and change makers transform their mindsets, embrace personal leadership, and achieve bigger goals. I do have kind of a traditional story in the beginning that becomes very unconventional. So there's a lot of what I teach that goes all the way back to when I was a child. I am a child cancer survivor, I guess you could call it. I was diagnosed at 10 years old, went through this whole 2-year ordeal. Surgeries, chemo, radiation, all that good stuff. My dad passed away in the middle of my treatment too. It was a rough couple years for a kid. So that completely changed my perspective on life, on reality, on just what's possible for people, like our kind of mindset around things too, because I tried to keep a positive mindset around everything when I was going through it. My motto when I was little was winners never quit and quitters never win. I have it right on my desk here.
Nice.
That was always what my dad said. So he was an entrepreneur, which is what kind of got me started in the entrepreneurial journey. That was not until more recently. So I did the traditional route to success. After the whole cancer thing, I lived a normal life, went to school, got degrees, got a job, that type of thing. I actually did the more of an overachiever than what most people do. So I got 4 degrees in 7.5 years, 2 bachelors, a master's, and a Juris Doctorate.
Wow. So, what was the concentration of the 2 bachelors?
Criminal justice and business management.
Okay.
Yep. So I always thought I wanted to do something in law, which is why I started with criminal justice. My master's degree was in basically threat assessment, risk management, but with a technology concentration, because I knew that's where the world was going back then. That was 16 years ago now. Law school after that, that's where the Juris Doctorate was. I did that in 2.5 years because I was taking classes over the summer as well as during the semester. I practiced law for like a year. After all of that, I practiced for about a year. And then I realized it wasn't really what I wanted to do. I didn't mind the litigation. I didn't mind the paperwork. I didn't mind like kind of all the politics, I guess, that go into it. But then it started to just get really old really fast. And I just wanted more freedom. I wanted more flexibility. I had some just annoying situations come up where I had a case thrown out because the judge didn't like my tie. Stupid shit like that you're like, I don't know how you make it to this level professionally if you're that petty. But there are people like that everywhere. They'll like won't read your review or your docket if it's in the wrong font or the wrong spacing or doesn't have the exact criteria there. And it was just too rigid for me. So I kind of branched off into this entrepreneurial world a little bit, started with real estate. I opened an apartment rental agency, which was new at the time. I was advertising on Craigslist. So it was back before there was like real ways of advertising things, or before I was aware of them anyway. I'm sure they existed, so I was posting these apartments on Craigslist. I had contracts with like 30 different landlords. That's the word, 30 different landlords in my area across. I was in Massachusetts at the time. And I would find prospective clients for them, do background checks, verify income, credit score, all types of things like that. Present it to the landlord. If they took the client, they would pay me 1 month's rent as a finder's fee. So I was doing that for a little while, realized that I wanted to help people more than just pushing them into an apartment. So I opened another office that was more residential real estate. And my goal was to help people buy a house. So even the ones that I was putting into an apartments, I was setting them up with a credit builder loan. So I'm like, this is how much you need to save. This is what your credit needs to be. This is how you can fix it. And then come back to me and I'll sell you a house.
I love it.
I ended up getting my insurance license, and my residential real estate office became a real estate / insurance office. So I could then not only sell houses, but I could also write somebody a homeowner's policy. That did really well for a few years. And it was around that time that I started doing my own advertising too.
Okay.
I started really digging into how can I use the internet to help this grow and make this grow more than just posting on Craigslist.
Hmm.
And it got to the point where my agency was actually doing really well. I had about 20 agents working for me at the time because I
Wow.
was
Okay.
doing my own lead gen and I was giving them out to people. Around, let's say 2017 or so, I moved down to Connecticut. So I was then an hour and a half from my real estate office, and I just basically stopped going in.
Mm.
I was doing Zoom trainings with my agents, and I was still giving them leads and just taking somewhere between 10 and 15% of every sale.
Hmm.
I sold that agency in 2019,
Congratulations.
and I've been 100% online since. So I
Wow.
only leave the house when I want to at this point.
And what do you do
Um,
today? If you had to put in a
so
nutshell
I,
who Drew is today, what would you tell the world?
a little bit of everything right
Okay.
now. So really, I have three different offers that
Okay.
I promote right now that two of them are mindset related. So one of them is more kind of thought leadership, which is something that's really helped me.
Mm.
Basically, um, it's helped me not only create the content that I create the connections that I have with my audience, but it's helped me kind of work with other people to clarify their message, create content that stands out, that builds authority, that has integrity, that isn't just this like fake scarcity or hype, basically.
Hmm.
That's the first thing. My second offer is called the Trained Mind, which is actually something I'm working on right now. My LLC that I started way back is called Alpha Dog Success. So everything that I do right now has some sort of a little dog twist to it. And then Fearless Founders is my third one, which is all for um, entrepreneurs stepping into their boldest leadership,
I
like
love it.
kind of creating a better life for themselves.
Love it. And I want to talk about rocket lawyer in a bit. Do you have a few more minutes with me? You have a few more?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, good.
absolutely.
What have you, those watching this discussion, this interview, what are some things we can learn from you? What are things you tell your clients? What are some things, Ramon? Every client I've worked with, here's the three things, four things. And maybe there's not, but that's just my guess. I'm interviewing hundreds of people. What are the things
Mm,
you say, Ramon? Here's three or four key things that people should know if they want to achieve something, because you're the expert in that, right? Mindset and more. So, what are the things you tell your best clients, and why? What is their problem even? Why do they want you, Drew?
there's a lot of different reasons, but for the most part, it's going to be really people that are doing the work, spinning their wheels, grinding the gears, and not getting the results that they're looking for.
Mm.
Most of us are kind of conditioned to believe that it's strategy, right? We're addicted to strategies. We don't really understand that it's something bigger than that. I guess they're kind of key things that I would say most people aren't inconsistent because they're lazy. They're undisciplined because they're unclear. And it's amazing how much clarity will do for you.
And
I,
give me an
I used to
example.
have my own training based around clarity. Now I just have a giant Google Doc to help people kind of unhinge things from their brain and get them down on paper so that you can start pulling it apart a little bit.
Give me an example why clarity is so important. Can you give me, for example, because I love that. So it's not, you're not saying people are not lazy while they're not doing the things they do. They're just not clear. What's a for example? How do you see it? What does that mean? Can you talk about that? Pull that thread a bit more.
Yeah. So most of the coaching clients that I talk to right now are in the marketing space.
Okay.
They're entrepreneurs, affiliate marketers, new service providers, that type of thing. I've done something crazy like 15,000 one-on-one calls in the last 5 or 6 years. Plus webinars. I mean, like I do trainings every week. I've had 1,500 people on webinars at different times. It's all based around this kind of entrepreneurial journey, that
Mm.
shift from employee to entrepreneur, from consumer to creator. It's really a tough transition that a lot of us aren't even aware of. And the clarity is basically once you have that clarity, once you have that awareness where you're like, hey, I'm a consumer. I'm not really creating or putting anything out into the world. Or I'm I'm stuck in this employee mindset where I need somebody to tell me what to do and how to do it and when to do it. And it's a big shift to get to that kind of, hey, I'm solely accountable for myself as an entrepreneur or a small business owner or whatever. But I do find that most people are still stuck in that employee mindset where they want somebody to tell them exactly what to do and in what steps. They might watch a training and they say, hey, he gave me 80% of it, but I don't know what to do next. Or they see a training and they say, that all sounds great, but how do I start? So to me, that's where the clarity comes in. If we can break it down and get super clear on this is where you are right now, this is where you want to go. In order to get from here to there are a couple things that have to happen. And even just literally drawing it out like that, draw a line, put where you're starting, where you're ending, and make 3 or 4 lines in between to say, I know I need to get these things done, right? If I want to get from employee to online business owner, maybe I need to choose an offer. Maybe I need to choose a target audience or identify a problem that I'm solving for that audience. Maybe I need a funnel or I need traffic. And you can sort of start breaking it down like that. And once you see those steps written out, it becomes so much easier to start picking through them without creating that anxiety or that overwhelm that we all have when we have these kind of just ideas floating around with no idea what direction to go with them.
Which goes to the clarity, right? The
Absolutely.
simple step of writing it out even probably starts that the clarity before amazing people work with Drew Kairos. Drew, curious, so why do you like what you do? You seem to be very into this and excited. Why do you like what I'm going to call transforming lives? Why do you like working with people to help them unlock themselves, get unstuck, open their mind? You have so many different brands, but it seems to all go around personal development, being a better person, being the best version of who God's made you. Why do you like doing this so much, Drew?
I think that kind of comes back to the story I was telling you at the beginning, where I realized that we're not here for that long. Anything could happen at any time. Where we leave this plane, right? So in order to make the most of it or have the best experience, we need to just not be complacent. So I basically I want to help people get out of their own way.
And tell me, Drew, then now with all that you're doing as a coach, as a consultant, helping people with their mindset and authority, and you have the Fearless Founder brand and Alpha Dogs is the primary brand. Where does Rocket Lawyer come in? How does Rocket Lawyer help you, and why is that so important to your business?
I actually get this question a lot, which is why I refer people to Rocket Lawyer, because I used to be an attorney. So I get people that are like, why don't you do this shit yourself? I have 2 LLCs that I formed through Rocket Lawyer. I have a virtual agent service for one of them. It's based out of Wyoming. Basically, they streamline the process. It makes it so much easier when you can just get in, fill out the blanks, and have an LLC. And then if you do have questions, you can contact a lawyer who can do that research for you. It's just a great one-stop shop, I think, for all of the legal goods that we need to operate a business effectively and not have to worry about losing our skin in the process.
You're a lawyer, Drew, and you have the expertise, yet you still rely on Rocket Lawyer. I think that's a testament to how you trust their service. Can you talk about that? Why do you trust their service? You're a lawyer. You could do a lot of it yourself, but yet you still rely on them as, I'll call it, your partner in business. Why is that? Talk about that, Drew.
For me, it just comes down to time. My first LLC I ever created, I did do all the paperwork myself. And that one's not open anymore. But the 2 that I have currently were filed through Rocket Lawyer. Basically, for me, it is time. Obviously, you need to trust the people that you're working with. You need to understand that they're going to do at least as good a job as I can do, which is the only people that I hire, the ones that will do it at least as well as I could do it, or else it's not worth paying. So I've been involved with the company for almost 10 years. Now, my most recent LLC was just about a year and a half ago, but I've seen Rocket Lawyer grow and expand, keep adding new services or streamlining the way they offer services. I've even done a couple calls to help them with the user experience on the website, which was exciting too. But it's basically it's a company that embodies my idea of continued growth and improvement.
Is it fair to say that for those small business owners, those entrepreneurs that are looking for a service, would you recommend, and you've already said it, but would you strongly recommend they consider Rocket Lawyer? And it seems like what you're able to do, Drew, is focusing on your business. You're focusing on transforming mindset, transforming lives. You're helping entrepreneurs who are stuck and they need your services. You can focus on what you love and what you do. And you're saying everything
Hmm.
else that's law related or other things. Rocket Lawyer does a number of things. I can
Right.
outsource that to Rocket Lawyer. Is that fair to say? And let me hear how you would maybe describe what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I mean, there's plenty of different resources and offers that do similar things, but I still like the way that Rocket Lawyer does it. And I do refer everybody there. All of my one-on-one clients, everyone from my mentorship, if you don't have a business yet, I'm sending you to Rocket Lawyer to create that business. Main reason why I do it is just because it's all there. You know, you can do the LLC, you can do the operating agreement, you could do a privacy policy or terms of service or a service agreement, even for coaching or something like that. All of those documents are all in one place, easy to access. You guys have tax services now, which I haven't tried yet, but excited to try in the future.
Have you used the personal services yet? They have things of estates and things of that nature. Have you tried that yet, or what are your thoughts on that? If you haven't, or if you have?
Yeah, I did do the um, will,
Okay.
I believe, through them. I was looking at trust formations
Mhm.
too. I'm always curious about how to pay less taxes as a business owner.
Yes. Yes, for
Right.
sure.
So the I was looking at trust formation and things like that. I didn't actually go through with it
Okay.
yet, but I did create a will at one point.
Nice. And people think, Drew, the reason I asked the question, because I haven't done many of these discussions and interviews, I think sometimes people come on the business side and then realize, you know what? I got some personal issues to take care of with my
Mm,
spouse, with my kids, with my property that are not business related, personal, and or they start on the personal side and realize, oh, let me try this in my business. So, from your
hmm.
expertise, talk to that aspect that, business is personal and personal oftentimes is business. Talk about that aspect and why maybe Rocket Lawyer has helped you in that.
Yeah, absolutely. I came to Rocket Lawyer as a business customer, but I've started to include more personal things. And you're absolutely right that especially as an entrepreneur, you are your business.
Hmm.
You know, if you're not taking care of yourself, whether it's exercise and sunlight, nutrition, those types of things, or it's mindset, or it's protecting liabilities and things like that, limiting risks. A lot of that, if it's not the physical world anyway, you can protect yourself with Rocket Lawyer.
Hmm.
Any of those agreements that you can create for yourself. And it is something that definitely goes hand in hand. You know, you got to protect yourself, you got to protect your business, you got to take care of yourself, you got to take care of your business. And the same notion holds true for both of them, where if you're not looking to continue improving or growing or healing, then you're just going to sizzle out.
And talk about sizzle out. One more question about going back to what you do and how you help people. That sizzle out. Let's talk going back to your clients. And this is not a
Yeah.
direct question because you talked about clarity, but many of them may be tired or overwhelmed. And of course, you're using Rocket Lawyer as part of your own team. So you're not overwhelmed. You can focus on what you do. But when you help people, Drew, separate than Rocket Lawyer,
Yeah.
what do you tell the people who come to you and are tired? I know it's a broad question, it's very broad, but just those who are tired, those are overwhelmed, those are frustrated. They're like, Drew, I've been doing what I'm doing in this entrepreneur game for a while. It's still not working. Again, you don't have the person in front of you, or maybe you do. But what do you tell them, Drew? Any common advice you're like, Ramon? Here's the most common issues that are happening when people are just tired.
My first question, always my first question, what's the problem?
Well, okay. So let's say they say the problem is, I've been in business for a while. I'm not where I want to be. I've been making 160,000 a year, 300,000 a year. But Drew, I see other people. They're making 5 times more than me. They seem to have the easy button. Drew, let's hone in
Mm.
on that side. Maybe that's the tone in on
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
They seem
I
to get
get that. So
excited. Like,
you're
okay, this is my cup of tea. Let's
now it's
go.
turning into a coaching conversation. I can do that. So you you mentioned you are making good money, you're working hard,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't feel fulfilling,
Mm.
right? Why is that a problem?
I feel I should be at a bigger place. I feel I should be. I feel there should be more because other people are making more. And we're doing the same
Mm.
thing.
So there's two things that I would pick apart from that. Um, Number one is I don't want you to shit on yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Number two is the comparison. So anytime we're comparing ourselves to anybody else, it's never going to end well.
Mm.
Mostly because we don't really know anything about those people other than what is put on social media,
That's right.
which is always a highlight reel. Nobody ever talks about the problems or the frustrations. And I can give you countless examples of that. Different people that I've worked with who play that game.
Mm.
You know, there's I'll give you one as an example here. Social media. A lot of people compare how many followers they have.
Absolutely.
Right? They're getting more followers than me. Followers don't mean anything. Just like having a viral video will actually hurt you more than it will help you in a lot of cases. Primarily because if you're getting all the views and you're chasing your followers, first of all, it's glamour statistics. You can't pay your bills with followers. Last I checked. So basically, what you're dealing with is you're chasing things that don't matter. And you're causing yourself to feel this certain way about that because you're not achieving these things that don't matter. So I don't want to get into a whole coaching conversation with you here, but that's the very basic piece of it. If we're looking to compare people, I had a guy that I worked with, his name was Mark. He had a huge following on YouTube for the longest time, 500,000 followers. He built it up over almost a decade. He joined my program and we were marketing on Instagram. So everybody in my audience had an Instagram account. They didn't know anybody else in the program, but this guy is like, hey, I posted 3 videos on Instagram and I'm over 2,000 followers already. And everybody's like, this dude cracked the secret code. He knows what's up. His content must be amazing. Let's copy his videos or whatever it might be, right? Turns out he put out a video on YouTube that said, hey, followers, I'm starting an Instagram account. Follow me over there. But he's not going to say that.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the truth about what a lot of people are doing. They have something else going on. Maybe they've been grinding for 8 years trying to grow this account and they finally have one video that blows up. They're going to not tell you, I was struggling for 8 years. They're going to tell you, I did this one thing and now this is awesome. You know?
Yes.
So that's where this comparisonitis comes in. We're comparing ourselves to a fake reality.
Yep. Drew, one more time, can you give me, in your words, very briefly, just what you would tell people about your experience with Rocket Lawyer? 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 sentences. Just let me hear a bit more. What would you say about why you like Rocket Lawyer, why people should use it, whatever's on your heart? One more thing about Rocket Lawyer.
Yeah, absolutely. Great one-stop shop for all your legal needs. We'll kind of lead off with that. It could be documentation, paperwork, business formation, taxes. You guys do everything now. And it's made up of a team of people that all want the best for you.
Drew Kairos, one more time, how can we find you? What's the website that you want people to go to that we can find you and get your brilliance?
Yeah, there's 2 main ways you can find me right now. So my primary website's alphadogsuccess.com. I do have links to all kinds of free resources. My blog is on there, and I have a lesser website that is just my name, drewkairos.com, where if you're interested in doing a business audit, booking a call with me, or having some type of conversation, you can do it right through that website.
I love it. Drew Kairos, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thanks, Ramon.